What is up, guys, and welcome to a brand new video. Today is a very special day because I'm showing you guys exclusive F1 Esports gameplay. This is the onboard of Dani Moreno, the Mclaren Shadow driver. So I want to say a massive thank you to him, to Nathan and Mclaren for allowing me to post this footage. And you guys are going to see exactly what it's like to take part in an F1 Esports race and how difficult it is to compete at the highest level.
No rain.
And one bonus thing as well is you'll get to hear the team radio of both the drivers and the personnel who are managing the strategy, the engineers, so to speak. So this race in particular is the Japanese Grand Prix in Suzuka. Dani is starting on the medium compound in P9 and is going to run long and hopefully finish the race strong on the softs. A 35% race distance as well, by the way, so this is the first time we get to see it in action.
I see a lot of soft runners at the front. Kiefer going for mediums with Jarno. Yeah, Red Bull is doing that call to stop Jarno. So Kiefer will stop him. A lot of soft in front.
Dani.
Still is the right choice to go medium?
Yes, I think we do. I think we're going to be
Dani? Yes.
Yes, I think we do.
We would be the third and fifth medium runners, the minority.
Yes, so
What were you gonna say, Nathan?
just to be aware, Beresne behind you will be starting on the soft. Just to be aware, Beresne
Yeah.
behind you will be starting on the soft. Let's just be mindful of that.
So that is the pre-race chatter. Going to stick to their guns. And yeah, I apologize about the footage. Both the radio comes up twice sometimes, and the aspect ratio is a little bit odd. But I think that's because Dani is running a widescreen monitor, maybe. I'm not sure. But yeah, let's get into this. This is actually a really, really good race. So leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more.
Okay, good luck, James.
Good luck, Dani.
That is James Baldwin, world's fastest gamer in the other McLaren, starting just outside the top 10. So here we go. Dani Moreno starting on medium compound tyres. It is going to be awfully difficult to get this thing off the line on a harder compounded tyre. But 5 red lights, and we are underway for round 10 of the F1 Esports Pro Series 2020. And that is Dani Beresne getting up the inside down into turn 1 on the soft compound tyre. Keep your eye on Michael Romanidis on the outside line in the Williams. There's also someone else who's going a bit slowly. I think that's Manuel Biancalila. I don't know their name very well, but Dani Beresne squeezes out Romanidis, and that allows Dani Moreno to move up a position, back up into P9, his starting spot. So a good early scalp for Dani Moreno. Able to get past a soft compound tyre runner, and hopefully from here Moreno can just follow Beresne through the field, because Beresne is honestly one of the fastest drivers in the world on this game. He's had a bit of an unlucky season, to be honest. His qualifying has been a bit inconsistent, but there's no questioning his racecraft, his race pace. So Beresne is one that will move forward, I'm sure, and hopefully Moreno can just stay in the slipstream, stay tucked in, and follow him through, basically. So we'll watch that with good intent. But early stages, looks like Michael Romanidis tried to have a little go at Moreno into 130R and into this Casio triangle, used up a bit of ERS to get closer, but in the end, Dani was able to stay ahead for the time being. So it's very important to watch the ERS usage over the course of this race. Your ERS is your most important commodity, I would say, in this F1 Esports Pro Series. You need that. You absolutely need that to overtake in this category. You can't get away with just overtaking someone and counting on a mistake, so to speak. The field is so close, and everyone is so consistent and so professional. They rarely make mistakes, and as such, there's these huge DRS trains, like you're seeing at the moment. Like, you're used to seeing this maybe in F1 on the opening lap or two, but in F1 Esports, this is the trend for the whole race. It's very easy to feel quite claustrophobic. At least that's how I feel as a viewer watching from the outside. It's almost like, how do you find the space to work past other people? And the trick is the ERS. You've got to use that absolutely to get past people. Oh, we've got a team radio coming.
Williams are using higher wings, James, just to let you know.
Yep.
Williams are using higher
And there you go. Dani Moreno already being very observant of those around him. You've got to scope out the competition. And Romanidis behind using higher wings. So that means he's a little bit more vulnerable in a straight line. So easier to overtake, but faster through Sector 1, the high-speed S's. So, yeah, he'll be putting Dani under pressure through the first sector. But after that, hopefully, he'll be able to stretch away. But, yeah, the benefit is, for Moreno at this point, is he's on the medium, he's playing the long game. He can just stay in the slipstream and the DRS of those ahead. As long as he can do that, as long as he gets dragged along in this Grand Prix, he will be benefiting massively because he still yet to put on the faster compound of tyre. And he'll make use of that for the rest of the race. So just watch out for that. You want to actually be spending more time on the soft in this race than the medium, just to make use of the pace.
Okay, first Peters already. That's good.
Yep.
Wow, interesting. Some soft compound tyre runners are boxing after only 3 laps, which is pretty insane. So that might force the hand of other soft compound tyre runners up the front. Obviously, the people who were stopping earlier are going really aggressive, trying to hold on to track position. And the reason why is because in this series, Japan isn't a track that's easy to overtake. The DRS zones are kind of few and far between. There's no DRS zone on the way up to 130R. The only DRS zone is on the start-finish straight, and it's a relatively short one. So long as you use all your battery there, you can defend.
Massive screen freeze. Massive screen freeze. I'm going to go lap 8.
Okay. Everyone pits. I'm not gonna use ERS to catch Jarno, there's no point.
Okay, so James confirming that he is boxing at the end of lap 8. I think Moreno is going to stay out longer, potentially, and go to softs after, just to overcut those who have recently gone on to the medium. So Dani at this point is going to have pretty good pace relative to those leaders who just put on their medium. There's not going to be much of a delta at all, so just staying out the extra lap or two. They might be encountering backmarker traffic. Kind of weird to say there's backmarkers in F1 Esports, but even the backmarkers would flog me by a mile on an F1 2020 race. So there's the potential that those...
Oh, my throttle pedal's broke.
Keep me updated, James. What's happening? Keep me updated, James. What's happening?
When I fully come off it, it stays on like 30%.
Oh, no.
When I fully come off it, it stays on like 30%.
Oh, that's not what you want to see. I've actually had that myself. So the reason why he's got that is because he's probably got some dust in the throttle pedal and he needs to clear that, and it's mucking up the sensor in the pedal, unfortunately.
I'll beat the same lap as Jarno, James. I'll beat the same lap as Jarno, James.
Oh, no, mate. It's...
Yeah, that's so frustrating.
No, mate.
Even racing in career mode, it's so annoying because it makes you go straight on at low speed corners, and it can cost you tenths of a second every single heavy braking zone. It's not what you want to see, and it looks like the problem sounds pretty serious for James. So that's really unfortunate when he was contesting for points as well in this one. But back to the battle for Dani Moreno. He said he's going to pit the same lap as Jarno Opmeer, try and mimic him, I suppose. So we'll see how that goes. You can see Nicolas Longuet up in P5. He is the effective race leader, 14 seconds behind at this stage. I think a delta...
I'm faster than Jarno.
Ooh, tasty. Yeah, he is catching Jarno, actually, despite not using much ERS at this stage. He's saving that for later on in the race when he's going to need to do some overtaking because he's running so long. But, yeah, Nicolas Longuet, 14 seconds behind and only marginally catching Dani Moreno at this point. The delta is around 21, 22, 23 seconds for a pit stop. So he's going to rejoin the best part of, I don't know, 6-7 seconds behind Nicholas. But then he's going to be on the soft compound tyre and he's going to be catching by like a second a lap. So it's well and truly all to play for in this second half of this race, where Dani can now chuck on the best tyre and carve his way through.
Nice, Dani. Hang in there, James, mate. You're doing a great job.
So here we go, onto the softs. 2.6 second stop, not a great one there. They're on the F1 Esports build, by the way, which is unique to the game that we all play. It does differ in some areas. To what extent, I don't fully know. The pit stops may well be equal for all teams and drivers. I think that might be the case. Someone will have to confirm that for me. But on the normal game, a 2.6 second stop is rubbish. Think back to Marduk Motorsport. We get under 2 second pit stops most of the time. So, yeah, make of that what you will. But Dani has rejoined in P10 and crucially ahead of Michael Romanidis, who he was ahead of marginally prior to the pit stop. So that's one less car he has to overtake later on, and he's on the better tyre. Brendan Lee, two-time F1 Esports champion in P12. He'll be charging his way through the field in this one as well, I'd imagine. Yes, we have another team radio.
Losing so much time in the hairpin because of the shitty throttle.
And yeah, just as I was alluding to earlier, slow speed corners, not good for a sticky throttle pedal. But just up ahead, we have Jarno Opmeer on soft compound tyres. It's imperative that Dani closes up to him to make the most of it.
Tormala has no ERS.
Wow. I'm surprised he can see that. I'm surprised he can notice that from here. Maybe the light was blinking on Tormala's car. One thing I do know is when the light is blinking, it means that you've got like less than 10% ERS, and that's normally a dead giveaway. So there you go. In terms of Dani's ERS situation, 62%. He's got so much ERS to play with for these remaining laps. So we'll watch that with keen interest. He's going to use that at good times. Is he going to go the inside here? No is the answer. As James is having more issues, it seems, unfortunately. But Yoni is on older soft compound tyres, so his tyres are really going to die off towards the end. So it's important that Moreno gets ahead of Tormala in quick succession. The question is he going to utilize it here on the run up to 130R? He's in mode 1, so that is just medium, by the way. But he is in rich, mode 3, as you can see in the top right of the MFD. But yeah, just biding his time for now. It's very hard to break the stranglehold when there's so many cars slipstreaming each other.
Fuck.
As you can hear, Dani just unfortunately not getting a great exit out of that last corner. So that's going to put him on the back foot for this next lap. He's going to have to bide his time, save a little bit more ERS, and then go again on the next one. But depending on his run through these two corners, he might be able to have a go into the hairpin. He's certainly close enough. And he put it up in overtake. He might go for this. Up the inside, into the hairpin. It's side by side, a bit of touching. But the move is done. Not quite, though, as Yoni Tormala is fighting back on the traction. Maybe using a bit of ERS to stay ahead. But in the end, Dani Moreno is going to win that ERS battle. And he moves himself up in a P9. With Dani Berezne right up next on the medium. That's an unfortunate snap of oversteer, as that gave him... I think his first warning of the race. 3 warnings, and that's a 3-second time penalty. Now, you absolutely do not want to be getting a 3-second time penalty in this series with the field so close. If you have 3 seconds taken off of your finishing time, Dani's going to go to like P12, or maybe even worse, because the field's so close. But anyway, a move is happening now. Slipstream, DRS, and overtake down into turn 1, and Moreno gets past Berezne and is now up in a P8. A crucial move there, as Berezne is an absolutely gun driver in this series. Really good at ERS management as well, so the fact that he's able to get past him early means that he can really let loose for these final 6 laps. And next up is Manuel Biancalila in the Alpha Tauri, who is on medium compound tyres. He's starting to fall away from Jarno Opmeer, and if he is isolated without any slipstream and DRS, then that's going to make that overtake a lot easier. So I think at the time when I was watching this race, a lot of the F1 Esports coverage was focusing in on Jarno Opmeer, or the top 4 or 5 or so, and completely missed out a lot of Dani Moreno's overtakes here. And same too for a lot of his other races. Unfortunately, the the coverage misses a lot of the overtakes in F1 Esports. And so, as part of this video series, we're showing you some of the missed highlights, some of the untold stories in the category. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. But we've got 5 laps to go. Another bout of oversteer for Dani as he tried to get on the power nice and early. Had to buy this time again. He's going to have to wait another lap before attacking Manuel. He's catching up to David Tanitsa, who seems to be struggling on his medium compound tyres. Maybe he has damage, I'm not too sure. Perhaps he can confirm in the comments or something. But Jan Ortmeer's got past him and is now up into P5. So, you're watching this race. Dani hasn't made a single mistake all race. Even the tiniest mistake. Running wide, missing an apex, you're probably losing a position. The level of focus required in this series is absolutely unreal. You can't afford to just slack off for one lap. You have to be attacking every apex, every corner. Every lap is like a qualifying lap in F1 Esports, and Dani so far hasn't put a foot wrong. As you can see, he now goes up in a rich and overtake. I think he's fancying the move on Biancalila on this occasion. He's probably going to get him on the run into 130R. Side by side for the two drivers. Biancalila tries to defend, but in the end, defense is futile. And Moreno gets up into P7 with David Tanitsa up next through the Castillo triangle, really attacking those curbs. You've absolutely got to maximize the track limits of what you can get away with, and makes pretty quick work there. Now, he's got DRS on Tanitsa, and this one was a bit awkward because he realized, oh, up the inside? No, not quite. He realized late in the piece that he was really catching Tanitsa, and if he would have put overtake on a little bit earlier, he probably would have got him. He pressed overtake a little bit too late in the straight, and so, again, going to have to wait another lap for that opportunity. So, yeah, at this point, you're just going to save a little bit of ERS, put the engine down into lean. That's something you have to manage as well, is the engine temps. Once they get above 130 degrees, then your total output of horsepower is diminished. So just keeping it in the optimal range is the best way to get the best horsepower. So here's the chance for Dani Moreno now. He's got a run on David Tanitsa, who doesn't have DRS and is probably low on ERS himself. He gets past with ease and is now up into P6 in this Japanese Grand Prix. And I've got to say, that is, even if things finish as they are at the moment, that is an amazing comeback at the start of the race, dropping to P10 off the start, getting overtaken by Berezne, and has just kept his cool, kept his patience. You have to show so much racecraft in order to, well, one, finishing the points, but two, to be able to overtake your competitors in this series, because no one, absolutely no one, is going to give you an inch. There's not going to be an easy overtake per se. You have to work for your overtakes with pace, with ERS management. You have to earn that right sometimes to get that odd easy overtake. And I feel like Dani has done that with his incredible consistency. He hasn't made a single mistake. He probably could have got past David Tanitsa a lap earlier if I'm being, overly critical. But otherwise, put in an amazing race. This is the last lap of the Grand Prix now. He's on 2 warnings, by the way. He got his second warning just a couple laps ago while we were fast forwarding. So for this last lap or so, he's had to be a little bit conservative and drive within himself to make sure he doesn't pick up a 3-second time penalty. Even then, he's still attacking every corner. I would not be attacking this much, but I'm not an F1 Esports driver. It's just the ruthlessness. He has no fear. So much composure to be able to keep pushing despite being on the brink of falling outside the points if he gets a penalty. But there we go. It's P6 for Dani Moreno.
Good drive, Dani. Really good drive.
Very good drive indeed. P9 to P6. And, yeah, I don't think there's any other race, any other example that I could show you that's more of a testament to how difficult it is to compete in F1 Esports. Like, the level of driving that is required to even be in this series is incredible, let alone being in the points. That's another level altogether. All 20 of these drivers who you see in this race are the best in the world. Absolutely no question. Maybe if I did a race against these guys, you would truly see how good they are. But when they're racing each other, it's hard to get a grasp of how difficult it is. But yeah, you've got to be absolutely insanely talented to be able to score points in a series like this. But guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content. I've got quite a few more races from the Mclaren Shadow guys who have given me the okay to put up some of these videos. This was just the first one that I wanted to upload. The other ones are some absolute bangers. You're going to see what it's like to fight at the front in F1 Esports. There's another one where there's an incredible recovery, plus a couple more, but I'll save those for later on in the days to come. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until the next one, I'll see you next time.